I passed out in the living room while my parents were having sex. Warning, some audiences may find this content disturbing. View at your own discretion. Welcome to the House of Reddit. Today, we share some recent r/TodayIFuckedUp stories posted on Reddit. I passed out in the living room while my parents were having sex. I'm 25M and have been working abroad for the last 3 years. Have a girlfriend, dogs and a cat back in the country I work in and have decided to settle there for good. I returned home in April as my parents, both in their early 60s, were tested positive for coronavirus in the same month and I wanted to help out with the due processes for treatment. Although they recovered quickly, it seemed as if I was going to be stuck at home as the borders closed. Initially, my parents and I didn't make it a huge deal but rather viewed it as an opportunity to have a good family time since I was their only child. All good for the next half year, work from home, girlfriend calls me every day, parents love her. I managed to keep a job amidst a massive layoff, so far so good, right? As a wise man once said, all perks come with a clause, and this time it was me becoming retrospective of how I had a tough time through my parents' midlife crisis during. They didn't know whom to blame for their unfounded woes and ended up pointing the finger at my teenage angst. As a way to elude this looming distress in my head, I challenged my parents to a session of rummy after dinner, a casual activity we did as a family when I was younger. Nevertheless, this only exacerbated my thoughts on familial grievances one goes through as a teen. We couldn't keep ourselves from exchanging words regarding whose fault it really was that they almost got divorced a little under a decade ago. Jackie D's on ice in our hands didn't help either. At a certain point we realized that we were all drunk and it would be best for us to retire for the night, and so we did, but not without the last act of slamming our cards and stumbling our way out of the kitchen. I walked out to the porch for a smoke while my parents were still in the living room, knew this because I could hear my mom sobbing. Entering the house, I decided to sleep in the couch itself as my room was upstairs and I didn't wish my life to be as anticlimactic as falling down the steps to break my neck. At this point I had thought that both of them had gone to bed in their ground floor bedroom, so I fell flat on the couch. To my surprise, a full 10 minutes later I heard whispers behind me, whispers in my parents' voices by the fireplace, and it sounded remorseful. Remorseful of mistreating each other and feeling sorry for each other. I let them be, without disturbing them because I thought I owed them at least that much, so I ensured not to disturb their moment by making it known that I wasn't asleep. My mom, seemingly playing the sympathy card, somehow turned the conversation sexual, and next thing I know they were getting undressed. Right behind me, even then, a cautious prick that was my dad hesitated and clearly mentioned my name, but my mom assured him, wrongly, that I had passed out since I hadn't apparently answered a call on my vibrating phone on the coffee table by the couch. Mom, no. I couldn't stop the inevitable and it happened. My parents had sex in the same room that I was in and I could have even wished to have died instead. I couldn't take it at one point and the alcohol in me found its way out as I hurled my guts out on the coffee table while they were still on the fucking train. After this, I heard them scurry their way back to their bedroom and the bedroom's door shut. That's when it dawned on me that I wouldn't have broken my 5 years of non-puke streak had I simply answered to my dad's beckoning, or even, as my mom said, passed out. Woke up in the middle of the night, cleaned up my mess and walked upstairs to my laptop to type this story while still being drunk. So excuse any error. My worst fear is reading another story in this subreddit from a parent's perspective on how they fucked up by having sex literally behind their son. I don't even know if either of my parents has a Reddit account. I do not wish to know. Certainly not that way. Feeling embarrassed on shitting my shorts while on a hike. I went on a 5-mile hike with my friend. It was a gorgeous day and we decided to take advantage of the good weather by getting some steps in after brunch. Little did I know, this brunch would come back to haunt me hours later. I'm a 30-year-old guy and she's a 29-year-old physician's assistant. About halfway back, my stomach started hurting. Like real bad. It's a semi-crowded trail, so when no one else was around, I let out a small fart. Not that embarrassing, since I've been close friends with her for over 10 years and her boyfriend farts around her all the time. After that, we started to pick up the pace. It was actually at the point where I couldn't run because of the stomach pain. And I was afraid some of it would slip through the cracks, if you know what I mean. When we got back to the parking lot, I thought I was saved. There was a community center and I decided to make a run for it, hoping for the best, while my friend went to the car to wait for me to use the restroom. Honestly, the rest was a horrifying blur. The doors of the community center were locked, assuming it was closed due to COVID. My stomach was in agonizing pain. I was definitely prairie dogging, as they call it, something I never experienced as a mature, responsible adult until that exact moment. A bunch of people were in the parking lot, talking or walking towards the trail. I looked for a bush, but none were tall enough to cover me while I did the dirty deed. Suddenly, I felt it. The first wave has arrived. It bittersweet at first, honestly. A fleeting moment of relief for my stomach pain. But now my favorite underwear was ruined forever. This was about to be a full-blown crisis. Either I take a shit in my shorts in front of the 5 to 7 people walking around the parking lot. I literally pull my pants down and shit in the garden in front of said 5 to 7 innocent bystanders. There were children around. As I had a mini panic attack, I saw a 6-foot gate leading into an enclosed maintenance area. Then, boom, the second wave hits. My body went into a full fight or flight response. I didn't care who was looking. I waddled over to that gate, leaving droppings on the sidewalk by accident, and scaled that gate like I knew how to parkour. Before I knew it, my body was emptying itself, luckily, on an old tarp that I hoped they weren't using. By then the smell was making me sick and my shoes and shorts were annihilated. I reluctantly called my friend to bring me some antibacterial wipes I had in the car. She didn't believe me at first, but after pleading, and honestly, just wanting to end myself, she walked over to the gate with my saviors in hand, the baby wipes. She threw them over and headed back to the car, taking note to avoid my accidental droppings by the gate door. I used the entire bag of wipes to clean myself. I decided my underwear, my socks, and my shoes were beyond saving, so I threw them away. I threw away the tarp. My shorts were salvageable, kinda, and I threw open the gate and made a run for it. As I ran past my pile of sidewalk shit, a couple was walking by staring at me. Presumably because I was wearing no shoes or socks and I probably smelt like death. As I approached my car, my friend was staring at me. I was so embarrassed and just wanted to go home and try to drink this entire memory away. She said, "I think you should change your mask." As I threw away my stained mask, it dawned on me, the couple that saw me fleeing the scene actually saw me running past my sidewalk shit, with shit all over my mask, smelling like shit, and with no shoes on. If hell exists, I'm pretty sure it's a reality where people shit their pants and have to clean themselves up, and then try to escape the scene, only to be caught in the act by other people. Lucky for me, my close friend and I laughed about it during our shit-smelling ride home. She said she's a PA and she's dealt with people's shit before. I think I need to move to another state. And also probably see a doctor about my stomach issues. Making my hookup think I'm a killer. I guess it starts last night. Me sitting in bed watching some scary shit about Cthulhu, or however you spell it. Big tentacle-faced menacing Cthulhu. The movie makes me paranoid. Like death grip fucking paranoia. It'd be entirely possible and completely inaccurate to say that paranoia was the blanket I'd wrapped myself in. I fall asleep. But not for long. At some point, in the middle of the night, I wake up to a sound. Was it a sound? Maybe Cthulhu? Some intruder? A mouse? I get up and look around. I see nothing. This does not help my burgeoning paranoia. Fun fact. Sleep sound mysteries do not help paranoia. Anyway, I'm awake now. Sleep is far off. I try to find her and fail. We aren't getting along. She eludes me. So be it. But I need a solution. My solution? Grab a knife from the cupboard and put it over my bed in easy reach. I instantly feel more secure. Any would-be Cthulhu will have to contend with the wrath of a kitchen knife. Confident in my foolproof defense, I find sleep. The next day dawns and it's seemingly nothing special. I go to the beach with my camera. I see sights, hear sounds, and take pictures. At some point I see a girl on a hill who seems cute and looky there she has a camera too. I walk over. Conversation ensues. She is cute. I wouldn't go so far as to say that sparks flew, but it's entirely possible that a vibe was caught. We exchange numbers and walk in different directions. We are now committed to a competition. Who can take the better picture before we meet again? Fast forward to later in the night. We meet up at my house, smoke and show each other the pictures we took. Our pictures are bad, but we're vibing off of our mutual lack of photographic talent. We start listening to music and one thing leads to another. Turns out we are both horny. Turns out we are both kinky. She gives me some bomb-ass head and I come on my stomach before heading to the bathroom for a post-fellatio hand washing and piss. Now comb-free, I find my way back to the bedroom. To the music and to her. But the girl, who is admittedly a stranger, starts acting really fucking strange. Like really weird. Maybe she's nervous? Maybe it's some weird regret? Maybe she's questioning her life decisions? Ike what it is, but she's acting really awkward. She starts frantically looking around for her bra. Insisting that she can't find it. So I help her look. The lights come on. Time passes. Turns out she'd put the bra in her purse. She tells me she has to go. I don't mind it. I feel like whatever vibe was there had been killed, and I'm secretly glad that I didn't have to find a way to ask her to go. I always feel weird telling people to leave and almost never do. Anyway, she beelines for the door, I hold it open, and as she leaves I say be safe. Like genuinely be safe. I close the door and decide to chalk the whole thing up to a weird one-night stand. Now, kind reader, here's the fuck up. After she leaves I take a shower, dry off, and look over at my bed. Fuck. The Cthulhu killing knife from the night before is still there. It's literally just sitting there. I'd completely forgotten about it. It's just kicking it under the curtain. She must have seen it when she was looking for her bra. Now, under any circumstances, that's a weird fucking thing to see. If we had known each other for more than 12 hours, I'm sure would she have felt that she could bring up. I could have explained myself, told the tale of Cthulhu, and generally put her mind at ease. But we didn't know each other and she must have assumed the worst. Her hasty exit starts to make sense. It all makes sense. I've kinda sorta written a couple texts out to explain the situation out, but they're all weird and stilted. At this point I feel it might be best to just let bygones be. At the same time, what the fuck, I don't want her feeling scared. I wet the couch in front of my girlfriend, naked, covered in whipped cream. My girlfriend and I recently had a brand new baby girl together. Adding to that, I have a 2-year-old son from a prior relationship, and when the kids go down for a nap in our tiny apartment, that means it's go time for a few minutes of sexy time while we still have energy. So as we were getting down to business, I suddenly have the bright idea to ask her to grab the can of whipped cream from the fridge. We are laughing and having fun. Me trying to be cute, I sprayed the whipped cream seductively on my chest and trailed it down my stomach towards the secret garden. I started laughing even harder at how ridiculous I looked. I got this pain in my side which didn't make it any easier to quash my laughter. I also had the immediate and intense urge to run to the bathroom. I gasped out between guffaws that I was about to wet myself. Now here's the part where I mention I'm a woman and I was the one who gave birth to the aforementioned 2-year-old son. With childbirth can come unfortunate side effects like bladder control issues. Also important to note, this hadn't happened to me before. Therefore I was not expecting to start wetting myself, naked, covered in whipped cream, laughing hysterically in front of my girlfriend. I jumped up and tried to run to the bathroom, but our newborn's rocker was blocking my path, which she was currently in. I yelled, "Help me." At which point my lovely girlfriend came to my rescue to move our daughter. But not before I'd ruined the couch, and wet the floor and myself. I retreated to the bathroom, mortified and still laughing hysterically, to take a shower and wash off my shame. To my wonderful partner's credit, she cleaned the couch and the floor whilst I was showering, reassured me she is going to marry me someday, and she loves me with her whole heart. I truly have the most supportive and loving partner. As embarrassed as I am, I can't wait to joke about this over beers in the future with her and get teased. If I loved her before, I love her twice as much now. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please let us know in the comments below. Turn on the notifications to know when we post new videos. Thank you for coming to the House of Reddit.